Obviously, India is a very sizable market for any industry. Gaming, I think it's relatively slower in terms of the maturity of the industry compared to other industry in India. But I think it is actually growing very fast over the last 4-5 years.
Sean, how can I forget this? That you are in the same room as us because of IDGS, the industry body for gaming in India. Why don't you share your perspective about your KRAFTON's association with IDGS? Can you share some light in terms of how critical monetization is, and moving forward, what sort of new innovative ways that we can see from a developer side how monetization can be done?
Yeah, it's a great question. What I can tell you that is we are already witnessing many startup or many game developers in a big company. They are using Midjourney or other generative AI tools to iterate their gaming ideas very quickly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special episode of Maverick Indian, brought to you by GameStack in partnership with IDGS. I'm your host Sumit, and today we have a very special guest joining us. But first, I would like to thank our partners at IDGS, the industry body for gaming in India, for bringing this content to all of you. IDGS is organizing India's biggest gaming show. Check out the details at gamingshow.in about India Gaming Show 2024 happening at Pune from 14th to 16th March. Let's dive into our conversation with Sean, CEO of KRAFTON India, the makers of BGMI. Please give a warm welcome to our guest Sean, CEO at KRAFTON India, the makers of BGMI. Sean is a gamer, father to 3 children, 3 boys in fact, and one of the most sought after leaders in the gaming industry. Sean, it's great to have you on the show. It's a pleasure. Indeed. Can you tell
Thank you
us a
for
lot?
having me here.
Can you tell us a bit about yourself and your journey and how it all started and led you to being CEO at KRAFTON India?
Okay. I mean, going back like 20, 23, 4 years, I started my career as a game designer of one Korean MMORPG game developer. That was how I got sort of engaged with the gaming industry. But I found myself not very talented in game design, so I switched my role to business and finance. And I was actually in banking industry for like in between 2010 to 2017. But I came back to gaming industry as the CFO of PUBG Corporation, which is the wholly owned subsidiary of KRAFTON. That is a like recent journey of myself in gaming and also KRAFTON. So it's been now 7 years with the company, and I moved to Bangalore in 2021 when we were setting up our subsidiary in Bangalore, and we were like initiating investments and publishing business in India. So that's how I got engaged with the Indian gaming industry.
Right. Awesome, Sean. BGMI has been one of the most successful gaming IPs in India, right? And what factors do you attribute to its success, and how does KRAFTON plan to maintain and build upon its success going on?
It's a like there are largely two factors which result in such a size of success. I think first thing is we the developer of BGMI, KRAFTON, we were in the right timing to find out the battle royale, which is the sub genre of shooter genre, is getting discovered by small number of users with the different games as a game mode, additional game mode for those games, and we were confident and ready to make it as a mainstream. That was the idea that we had in 2015, I believe. and then we were successfully launching the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds on PC and console in 2017, um, which actually got a lot of popularity across different platforms. And BGMI, as we are aware, it's a mobile game. So mobile, given the wider accessibilities among gamers, it has got global hits. And we also launched the game for India, specifically for India market, which has also got welcomed by many Indian gamers. So I think we have found the strong popularity among small number of users, and we could make it as a mainstream game by introducing more accessible gameplays and also wider accessibilities across different platforms. I think that the two factors result in such size of success.
Right, that's great to
Mm,
hear. Um,
mm,
and personally, I've been keen and avid gamer and following how the pop culture has emerged right around
mm,
esports and creator economy. What I
mm,
would love to understand for you is India has seen growing interest in gaming and esports in the last decade, right?
mm, mm,
From your perspective, how do you see the overall gaming landscape evolving in India, right? And what potential do you see in the market and vis-a-vis the global market? How global market is going through different tectonic shifts, if I
mm,
may say so.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think India has a, I mean, obviously India is a very sizable market for any industry. Um Gaming, I think it's relatively uh, slower in terms of the maturity of the industry compared to other industry in India. But I think it is actually growing very fast over the last 4 5 years. Uh, and it has a very unique characteristics of uh, like dominance of mobile platform in the gaming industry. In other countries like Korea or US or China or Japan, like traditionally console or PC has been the main platform for gaming experience. But in India, the mobile has been maybe 95% of the gaming market in terms of revenue or user base. So India, we can call it's a mobile native gaming market, which creates a very unique landscape. So I think Krafton and BGMI is a position in a very in a very good position. And we also want to drive, not just adapt to the development of the Indian gaming industry. So I think we will see more newer genres coming into India. Now we have like Battle Royale, we have Ludo and card games, but I think we will see more genres coming into the market, which will be enjoyed widely by Indian gamers.
Interesting. Could
Mm.
you talk to me about the new game launched by Crafton?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We launched it. We launched it. Road to Valor Empires, which is a strategy game. Last March, like 2023. And we also launched another tower defense game called Defense Derby in, I believe, July last year. This year we launched it just a couple of days. Yesterday we launched it Garuda Saga, which is action RPG game. So that there are three games we launched over the last one year or so. We will continue to launch more games. There are like 2 3 games in the pipeline, and we are in discussion with multiple studios. So we are very excited to show more in for the Indian gamers.
Interesting, Sean.
Yeah.
Sean, let me tell you a bit of fact. In fact, I was
Mm.
there at one of the event, right, and I heard one of an interesting story between Rajan and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that how you entered into the gaming ecosystem, right? You were
Mm.
I believe and I guess that there was
Mm.
something to do with the uh, time in army that you were supposed to
Yeah, yeah,
serve.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Could you please share more about
Mm.
that story? I would love to understand and hear about it. Possibly our
Yeah.
viewers will also love to hear your story, how you entered into gaming.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a very unique thing for Korean male. Maybe there could be something similar in different contexts. Maybe in a country like Israel or Taiwan, where military service is a compulsory for either male or both male and female. So, um, like when I was at the age of military service, which was early 2000, we were the second generation of baby boomers after Second World War. So there are too many boys compared to the available slots in the army. So Korean governments introduce like a policy. If you have engineering degree and if you're willing to work for certain tech startups, then you can actually substitute military service with the working for those tech startups. So I chose to work for the game developer back then. There are many other friends and alumni or other like senior friends who has chosen the same path, and then most of them still work in gaming industry. So I think it's one of the very big factor how Korean gaming industry took off late 90s and early 2000 by attracting lots of young and high quality talents into the gaming industry. So yeah, that's something maybe Rajan mentioned to you.
Following up onto that,
Yeah.
if one advice, if you were to give to younger Sean, what would
Hmm.
that be?
My advice would be maybe you, Sean, should have studied harder on programming. I wasn't very good at coding or programming, so I chose my path on not on the programming side, but on programmer side, but on the game designer side, which I also neglected that being a good game designer requires certain skills of programming. So that's why maybe I couldn't excel in game designing or even programming as a game developer. So I chose different path. I do not regret too much because I also found fun in working in other roles around the gaming industry. But I hope that I could do better in the game develop as a game developer.
That's as far as some of the lighter conversation goes, but help us understand what's the
Mm,
Krafton's go-to-market strategy for
mm,
India in terms of
mm,
investment, right? We also get to learn that
mm,
Krafton had a investment fund last year, and now there
mm.
is a fund that has been announced for particularly for the gaming sector,
Yeah.
right? This year. Could you help us more understand more about the investment thesis and what is the strategy behind Krafton India beyond gaming and in the gaming landscape?
I remember that I first traveled to India for business in 2019. Um, I felt that India will give a lot of opportunities, not just to the gaming company, like game developers and publisher, but also I could see that there will be lots of demands for content and entertainment on smartphone. Uh, so since then, I started interacting with entrepreneurs or like companies in India in those sectors, like gaming and digital entertainment and contents, etc., etc. So we started our investment from Nodwin back in like early 2021. I think it's February 2021. That was our first investment, and since then we invest in not just in gaming or gaming related, but also in other content creating platforms or contents platform like Kuku FM, Pratilipi, Friend, and all these companies. So now they have a pretty sizable revenue and user base. But when we were investing, which is only like 2 3 years back, they were like early stage company. We led in the most cases we led their A round or B round. But since then, like over the last 2 3 years, they've grown like 10x in terms of user base and revenue. So um, that was, I believe that we had a right thesis in terms of gaming is a one form of entertainment to be like oversimplified, and there are other contents where users are willing to consume and spend. That is still the thesis that we have for investment, and we will continue to seek more investment opportunity in those areas, and also we will continue to support our existing portfolio companies. And on the other hand, as we are witnessing right now, there are like new technology like generative AI and deep learning and etc., which actually changing and will change further the way we create the content, and also we the way we consume the content by curating or by providing more customized, more targeted content. So I'm to be honest, we haven't found any like very exciting company in those direction, but I think that's the new direction that we will uh, explore. And then um, like so I think you briefly mentioned about the investments corpus that we have announced in last year. So we have invest in along those thesis and lines. We have invest 160 million US dollars over the last 3 years in India, and we announced that we will invest another 150 million out of that. Which will enhance our coverage and also our presence in those markets.
Oh, and that's a gaming fund that you have announced, or KRAFTON has announced in India. If
I think that you refer
Yeah,
to the incubator, right? We
that's
call
correct.
it internally KIGI, KRAFTON India Gaming Incubator. That's not like a very, it's not like typical VC fund. In terms of maybe size of financial support, it's on a smaller side. But the unique feature of the incubator program that we are like putting is that we will offer mentorship, like direct mentorship opportunities between incubatees, like development teams that we are helping with mentors within Krafton studios in Korea or US or Europe, so that they can have direct opportunity to learn and ask, what makes great games, what makes great game developers. So that's a very unique features that we are proud of. Although it's a first batch, which there's a first batch we will announce very soon. But we are very also excited how it would help the Indian developers, and how they would improve their game development in the near future. So
That's good to understand. In fact,
Mm,
I particularly believe that developers are key stakeholder in the entire gaming industry backbone, and they definitely need more capital power,
mm,
provided they are deserving, of course. So that
mm.
they can build the right products for our Indian market. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to shift the gear towards creator economy, right,
Mm,
and talk a little bit about esports, and also mix it with the content creators
mm,
who play a very important pillar towards and thinking of how games have grown in India, right, at the back of how content creator ecosystem has grown and seen growth.
mm,
I want to hear your thoughts, what you've seen in the BGMI success
mhm.
at the back of esports and the creator economy, and how it will shape up the future success of other titles as well as BGMI in India.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a very like, important question. As we are, like, we are witnessing the growth or the birth and growth of the creator economy. So BGMI success has been accelerated or has been sustained by working or collaborating with a lot of influencers and creators around BGMI. I think it's not just in India, but also in other part of the world that in the other part of the world when our games were introduced to our gamers, it it was immensely facilitated by creators. It was, I believe, started from 2016 when we were doing alpha test on our PC version. We didn't pay anything to those creators, but those creators, they were very small back then. Those creators found our game is very streaming friendly. They found that they can create different sort of stories by playing games every time. So that actually happens in a similar way in India with the BGMI. And I believe that the game itself and creators grew together. So I think still when we do esports events in different locations, we invite our creators to the events, and fans are also very excited to meet them in person, face to face, um, which actually give a very positive and very lively vibe in the offline events. So I think that shows a very unique sort of collaboration between gaming company and gaming IP and also creators. I think that if that could be replicated and repeat over other games, I think it will grow the overall creator economy around gaming and esports. So that is something that I wanted to share.
Right, Sean.
Mm,
Anything in particular that you see that we can learn from other
mm,
gaming economies in Southeast Asia or Korea or any
mm,
other place where something emerging is happening, and that we are, from a creator economy perspective, that
mm.
we are yet to catch up? Anything that you can think of and share with us?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So one thing I really wanted to see in India happening is like, forgive me if I mention about Korea too much. I cannot help it because I have grown in Korea for the most of my life. Like in Korea, there is a platform, streaming platform called Africa TV, which shows live streaming mainly in gaming, but on also other kind of content. So it's a mainly live stream platform and creators, they are like the host of their streaming, and there are various contents, and that the platform actually encourage and facilitate interaction between the host, the creators, and fans. So there are a lot of interesting interaction, like, I mean, but mainly we can call it as a gifting. So which actually fans are supporting the creators living with that gifting, so that creators are doesn't have to care about their daily lives. They can be more focused on creating content. I think in India we still yet to see most of famous or big creators. They are from either from like like being very active from the social media, Instagram and etc. etc. Which might be related to brand marketing and e-commerce, or esports or game live streaming. I think India still yet to diversify fully. I think we can, find some lesson from streaming platforms like Africa TV, which I just mentioned from Korea. So,
Sean, what are your views on
mm,
monetization? And it's a very broad topic to be discussed, right?
mm,
And when we look at game monetization, we think of IAPs or brand partnerships, or there could be other ways of monetizing game.
mm,
What are the some of the key pillars to monetization when you think of successful titles like BGMI or others?
mm, mm,
Um, can you share some light in terms of how critical monetization is in the
mm,
current titles that you're living with in India? And moving forward, what
mm.
sort of new innovative ways that we can see from a developer side, how monetization can be done?
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. I believe most of game developers in India or targeting India market, I think maybe BGMI is a rare exception that where I mean which in which the publisher, I mean the developer can make some sizable revenue to sustain the service of the game. But there are a lot of like most of games available in the market. They have hard time. They are having hard time in creating sizable revenue to sustain their business. Um, I believe every country has a different way of consuming content or paying for content. So I think it's a still a mission for someone like us, the global developers who are like focused in India, or Indian developers who are making games for Indian gamers, to invent or to create like different or differentiated monetization model. I think it has been done to specific market like Japan, Korea, or China when mobile free-to-play game become sort of widespread. I think now we might need to see the similar sort of scale of invention from Indian developers. Otherwise, I think there will be limitations in terms of size of the market in Indian gaming industry, and also the upside potential of Indian game developers in front of not just Indian gaming market but also global markets. So I think it's a mission for all of us. I don't really have a very specific answer how we can do it, but we will. I mean, we are already experimenting different approach in terms of monetization. We are introducing new style or new type of in-app purchase items. So I think that's like something that we have to all work together.
Sean, as I introduce you, that you are also a doting parent gamer or gamer parent, should I say?
Yeah.
Can you share possibly who Sean is at home, and your kids? I believe they also love gaming. It,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
what kind of games that Sean plays at home, and how do you manage being a leader and CEO at Crafton vis-a-vis who that Sean person is at home?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I think any parents, would feel sort of in the same way. Like you have maybe too big burden or too big mission on the both sides in a company or in working place and your home. But I'm lucky to have a great family. My wife has been very supportive for my career. So when I decided to move to India, not really decide. When I have an idea to I mean, when I have an idea of moving to India, my wife was very supportive to moving to this country. While she doesn't speak English too much, while my kids were very small, very young back then. So that actually helped me a lot. And obviously, gaming also helps us to release stress. I mean, like my kids and I continue to try new games whenever there is a new game, and then we are laughing together, and we are becoming. I'm becoming a creator in front of them. They don't. I mean, because they are still like 11, 8, and 5. They don't really play games too much on their own, but they enjoy watching me playing games. So I'm also playing a role of creator at my home every weekend morning, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. Um, on the other hand, I think I'm also very lucky to have great colleagues in my office, and also great friends and partners in the industry, so that I feel that I'm now being welcomed overall by people in India and friends in India, which gives me more energy to try something better for the industry and something better for the company. So yeah, I'm lucky to have all this friends and family for my development and success.
I
Yeah.
that's great to hear. How's the culture at Crafton?
Mm,
I don't want to get into the serious side of Sean now. It's more to do with who that persona that Sean
mm,
carries at office, and what is the culture, the DNA that you have brimming at your office with colleagues, and the leadership style. Of course, I would love to hear
mm.
both of that.
Krafton, we started as a development studio. The original name was Blue Hole, which we still use as a name of the studio. Blue Hole Studio was started in 2007. So we, at the core, we are game developers, and we still have maybe 10, 11 studios across globes. I think that's the core identity of Krafton. Uh, although we have maybe now we have 2,000, like maybe we have one half of our employees, which is I mean, our total number of employees are 3,000. Maybe half of them are developers, and the other half of them are like business, finance, HR, and etc. So I think, but still, the identity which defines us is a game developer. So we have at the core we have a respect for uh, engineering, technology, and entertainment and art. So which is a little unique combination, but that's all about defining gaming, I believe. So that's actually represents the uniqueness of gaming company. So that's a one side, one way to explain the culture of the company. And we, the one of the very uniqueness of Krafton is we value the power of collaborative efforts with the global, I mean, within the global team. So the success of BGMI and other games within Krafton uh, was possible because we have team members from different countries. Although we are based in Seoul, South Korea, I think at least one third of our employees are working outside Korea, including India, US, Netherlands, Japan, and etc. So that and also our revenue, like 90% of our revenue is coming from outside Korea. So the global perspective is one very unique and powerful characteristics of Krafton culture.
Uh, why don't you share your perspective about your Crafton's association with IDGS? And I
Hmm.
also know that they are coming up with the India Gaming Show in Pune in the coming month. How are you looking at the association between Crafton and IDGS?
Yeah, yep. I mean, I've been to many gaming show or gaming industry events across globe, and I was a little um, I felt a little unfortunate. In India, there are some gaming events, but there are still room to improve. And I mean that those events should be known to many more people within India, also outside India. So I believe IDGS has a relatively longer history among all these gaming events in India, and I decided to be fully associated with the IDGS because there are many like-minded person in this setup. So I mean I want to work harder to make these events greater consistently over the next 5-10 years, which I have seen in many countries like Korea, Japan, US, having this kind of consistent and large size events will actually benefit all of the industry stakeholders, and it will accelerate developments and collaboration among friends and partners in the gaming industry. So I want to see, and I'm looking forward to more things to come, not just this Pune events, but also in the events of next year and going forward.
Right, Sean. Sean, I'm going to ask you a few fireside questions, if you may,
Yeah, yeah, please.
and we'll keep it light and try and get to know you better.
Hmm.
So here's my first one. What do
Hmm.
you like the most about Indian culture?
I mean, it's a little tough question, but just one, and anything come first in my mind was food. Food is the like something comes up to my mind first. I mean, even before I come to India, I loved Indian foods, which I can get in my home country, Korea.
Great. Which is your favorite food from
My
India?
favorite food, maybe dal makhani. I'm not vegetarian though. I'm not a vegetarian, but I generally enjoy non-veg food. But among Indian foods that I had tasted, I think dal makhani is my favorite because it goes well with breads, Indian breads, and also It is. I mean, it never get bored. It never gets bored. So that's one of my favorite.
What's the which is the favorite genre of game that you like the most?
Of course, battle royale, shooter game. I mean, um, when you got when you get angry for some reason, you want to fight, you want to shoot someone, then battle royale game is the game you go to. Other than that, I enjoy strategy game. I like Age of Empires. I like the StarCraft, Warcraft games from Blizzard. Yeah, like shooter game and strategy game. They are the main two games that I go to. Maybe every not every day, maybe every 2 3 days at least.
Besides gaming, what else does Sean indulge into? Just one
Uh,
top thing besides gaming.
Yeah, I mean, like it might sounds boring and very normal, not very special. Like Netflix, Netflix is my Netflix and YouTube. It's like everyday entertainment medium that all of us are having right now. Yeah, so I mean, whenever I want to sort of wind down, I generally watch either Netflix or YouTube, unless I have energy to play game. Yeah.
Got it. If you were to give a message to the budding gaming entrepreneurs on the
Mm,
development side, what would that one message be? And I'm particularly talking from an Indian development ecosystem perspective.
mm. Um, well, I mean, I have this kind of conversation from time to time with India gaming startup found. I mean, the founders of Indian gaming startup. I think like there are like maybe typical like two different typical cases. One case is they are focused on India market, and the other like case is in that case like founders are focused on global markets because India has low ARPU and maybe little shallow like fans in certain niche genre of the game. But I want to emphasize that you might want to see both sides if you want to create great gaming company because uh, given I mean from my own experience like something uh, working very well locally it sometimes work also very well globally. So um, I want like the startup founders. I mean, in the gaming development, I want you to experience or experiment on the two direction, like Indian market and also global markets, and then you will actually learn through all these different approaches and experimentation. um, I think that is my genuine recommendation. You don't need to assume that this will work only here or there. You should maybe you need to experiment like different things with a different sort of perspective. So it sounds a little abstract, but I think that was a little bit of my not really frustration, but something that I found a little discouraging while I'm talking to some gaming founders. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
We've seen how AI is bringing dramatic shift in the
Hmm.
content development space.
Hmm.
Um, what would be top of your mind biggest change that game companies can look at 2024 to bring
Hmm.
vis-a-vis the generative AI and how the development is happening on that infrastructure side of things.
Hmm. To be honest, I don't really know the specific application or direction in this. What I can tell you that is we are already witnessing many startup or many game developers in a big company. They are using Mid Journey or other generative AI tools to iterate their gaming ideas very quickly. You don't really need to hire uh, conceptual artists separately. I mean, of course, if you want to create proper pitch material for publisher, you still need a like maybe human concept artist to produce certain quality of gaming art. But if you want to have some discussion material among your team members or within your company or on a certain casual setting, I think generative AI tools do a fantastic job. It will save a lot of time and cost. So that is already happening. And within Krafton, we are also experimenting to develop our own like model, AI model, which can solve certain problems, which we have like published as a research paper and etc. etc. But we still yet to see the very extensive application from those things. But at the same time, we are seeing there are like there is a beginning of new games which are using AI as a main part of the gameplay. So very easy example is there are some games that use AI, better AI. I mean, there used to be AI for an NPC, non-playable character within game, but now the AI is getting so improved, so that actually like playing with the NPC become a core part of the game. I mean, none of them are very successful or very like high quality. We cannot call them as a AAA game, but I think there are like game developers who are experimenting or improving in this direction. So I believe that maybe within 1 or 2 years we will see something commercially very successful using these technologies.
Hmm. Any closing thoughts, Sean, that you have for our viewers? Anything that comes to your mind from India market and
Mm.
what we have for global markets to see how India market is growing? Any closing thoughts or message that you have?
Yeah, I mean, as I briefly mentioned while we talk about how do I feel about IDGS and what is our sort of commitment in terms of Krafton's association with IDGS. I genuinely want to see India gaming industry become a centerpiece of global gaming market, and also want to see like many global game developers and publishers making games in India for global markets. I think that's the very big one of the big motivations that why we are starting the KIGI, the KRAFTON India Gaming Incubator program. Um, so hopefully within let's say 3, 4, 5 years, we want to see at least 2, 3, 4 triple A quality games made in India, and sell very well in the global market. That's what I really want to see.
Well, with this, Sean, thank you so much. I want to extend my heartiest thanks, and
Mm,
um, and I wish you all the best and good luck for 2024, and
thank
and
you.
moving ahead, of course, for the future as well.
Mm,
And it was a pleasure to have you with us today.
likewise, likewise. Thank you for having me for this great conversation.
Thank you so much, Sean.